Welcome to Bashnader Unleashed. I will be breaking down this upcoming UFC's fight night, Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. I will be starting from the early prelims all the way to the main event. Starting with the early prelims, it is Vanessa Demopoulos versus Talita Alcancer. I will be going with Vanessa Demopoulos on this fight. This is a women's MMA fight. I'm not really too sure. I know the stereotype with women MMA is that it's never really too predictable. You never really know what's going to happen. Vanessa, I think this is her fifth, maybe sixth UFC fight. Talita, I haven't ever seen her fight, honestly. I'm never going to lie to you guys. Going off just UFC experience, I'll choose Vanessa Demopoulos. Very low confident pick. Again, I've never really seen the other fighter fight, so this is just purely going off UFC experience. I'll take minus 180 Demopoulos in this fight. Moving on to the next one. We have Victor Henry versus Pedro Falcao. Honestly, I'll be honest with you guys, this whole UFC card, it's not that good. A lot of these fighters are no names, and a lot of them I haven't ever heard of. I know a lot of UFC fighters, so for this whole card to be that bad, that says something. Victor Henry, he is the more UFC veteran in this fight. Pedro Falcao, I've never seen him fight. I've only seen Henry. Henry's not that good. I saw him quit one fight. He did get groin shotted, but he quit. That is what it is. His last fight, I think he got destroyed by Rob Font. Rob Font does have hands, but I guess I'll go with Henry on this fight. Again, just based off UFC experience, but that's very low confidence. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't really know who's going to win that fight. Moving on to the next fight, we have Loma Lookboonme versus Istella Nunes. I will be going with Loma on this fight. She is like a huge favorite. I think she's like minus 700 at this point. I was able to bet on her at like minus 450. I've seen probably like 2 or 3 of her UFC fights. She completely destroyed in the first 2. The last one was a little bit closer, but she did clearly win. The first 2 fights, I just remember her in like crucifix, just blasting them with elbows and the opponent's cut. So those are the only real memories I have of Loma. Istella, I think this is her like second fight in the UFC. She did lose her first one. She is like a plus 450 favorite. I don't really fancy her in this fight. She is like a kickboxer. She's going to try and stay on the outside, but I think Loma's going to be able to close the distance. Even though Loma's really small, short, kind of stocky, she should be able to close the distance, get Istella down, and get the win. Very confident pick in Loma. Moving on to the next fight, we have Rhys McKee versus Daniel Frunza. Again, another fight. I'm not really too sure. This whole card is pretty bad. Rhys McKee, he's like plus 150. I guess I'll go with him. I do also watch other people on YouTube to see what they think about the UFC fights. Seems like the populace is Rhys McKee is a good underdog. Again, I don't really care about this fight. None of these fighters are good. Rhys McKee, I guess I'll go with him. I've seen him fight before. He didn't win. He just kept losing, but I've never seen Frunza fight. I guess I'll go with Rhys McKee again, just based off UFC experience. And I'll go just based off that. He's not very good. So I will warn all of you that he's this long, lanky, nerdy fighter that isn't very good. So take that as you will. Moving on, we have Diane Belbita versus Diane Barbosa. I am very big on Barbosa this fight. She is also like minus 700, so clearly everyone agrees. But Belbita's just this little princess who I don't think is very good at fighting at all. Skinny, lanky, got destroyed by McCann, got her arm destroyed and broken. Barbosa should be able to come in here and destroy her. She is like 7-4, so Barbosa in her own right is not that good. But Belbita, again, like I said, she's just this little princess that isn't very good at fighting. She should get beat, plus like 500, I think, are her odds, so that clearly reflects that. Next fight, it's Davey Grant versus Daniel Santos. I've bet against Davey Grant in his last few fights. He's getting older, which makes me only want to bet him against him more, but he just keeps winning. Santos is from the shoot to box camp with Charles Oliveira in Brazil. He has that patented gold blonde hair that's bleach dyed like all the Brazilian fighters. He, I think, should win. He's had pretty good win rate in UFC. He hasn't won all of them. He's lost some. Davey Grant, again, he's never going to be champion. He's like 39-40 at this point. He does keep beating like prospects, though. That's the problem. So I will go with Santos in this fight. He is the younger, more forward pressuring fighter, but I wouldn't be surprised if Davey Grant wins as another underdog again at like plus 180, I believe he is. Santos is the pick, but he's very low confidence, along with a lot of people on this card. Next, we have Buday Osbourne versus Luis Gurule. I guess I'll go with Buday Osbourne on this fight. He got beat by Ronaldo Rodriguez in his last fight. He did basically KO him and get him in a triangle choke just off Ronaldo's toughness. He did survive that. I've never seen Buday's opponent fight, so I don't have that to go off of. Buday does have a lot of UFC experience. He has fought in the UFC for a long time. He is so hideous with his little dumb braid. He looks like some alien almost. I don't like Buday Osbourne. I guess I'll pick him this fight, but he's not my favorite fighter. He could very easily get beat, and I wouldn't care at all. Hope he kind of gets beat. Not betting on this fight. I'll pick Buday, but low confidence on that one. Moving on to the main card, it's Torrez Finney versus Robert Valentin. Fortunately, guys, I'm sorry again. I don't want to lie to you guys. I've never heard of either of these guys, so I'm not going to break down something I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This fight will just be a no pick. Moving on to the next fight, we have Kennedy and Chekwu versus Martin Buday. This is Kennedy's second fight in the heavyweight division. Kennedy was always pretty hit or miss in the light heavyweight division. Win one, lose one pretty much. Now going up at heavyweight, he did win his first fight against Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett, as exciting as he is, he's just too big. He's overweight and he's not that good. He does have those flashy little wheel kicks that he does, but Kennedy beat him. And again, also Chris Barnett did like blow out his ACL in like a minute and a half in that fight. So not really a very convincing heavyweight win for Kennedy. Martin, not a very good heavyweight, big, kind of overweight as well. Pressure forward fighter. He does throw good volume. I think Martin's the underdog. I think I'll go with Martin in this fight. He just has more heavyweight experience, but I mean, again, Martin Buday is not that good. He's probably like 36 or something, and he's just a very 1, 2, 3 punch guy, and he doesn't have any takedowns, any ground game, not very good in the clinch. Kind of tough. He did take a lot of damage one fight where he lost, so he does have a chin, but take that as you will. Martin Buday is not that good. Kennedy's first win in heavyweight was a fluke, so I will take Buday in this fight. Low confidence pick, but I'll take Martin Buday in this fight. Next, we have Cortavious Ramos versus Lee Chang-ho. I'll take Cortavious solely off of he's the only fighter I've seen fight before. Lee, I started looking at some of his fights, the past fights. He just is kind of an outside fighter, tries to point fight. His strikes are just not damaging at all. He's literally just touching you basically the whole 3 rounds. Cortavious should be able to get him down. He is a stockier African-American fighter. Should be able to get him down, hold him, and probably hurt him with elbows. I've seen Cortavious do a lot of damage with elbows before, so should get the win. Not maybe medium confidence. Again, Lee doesn't have any power at all. Cortavious, he does have some UFC experience, so I'll go with him. Medium pick on this fight. Cortavious should get the job done. Next, co-main event, we have Pat Sabatini versus Joe Anderson Brito. Basically, Pat is the wrestler. Joe Anderson's the power striker. If you like the wrestler, then you would want to go with Pat. If you think Joe Anderson is going to get the knockout, then you would want to go with him. I'll go with Pat. He is another underdog, plus 190. I think he'll be able to get the takedowns. Joe Anderson, if he can't get the knockout, he is going to struggle. Joe Anderson will probably survive all 3 rounds. Pat's just going to have to control him all 3 rounds. Probably won't get the submission. But I like those odds. Plus 195 for Pat Sabatini, a good wrestler. If he gets knocked out, is what it is. But he might be able to get him down each round, get the control time, and get the judge's scorecard decision 30-27, hopefully. Moving on to the main event, we have Lerone Murphy versus Josh Emmett. I am very scared to pick Lerone Murphy. He is definitely the better martial artist in this fight. It's just that Josh Emmett literally has hands of death. He will connect on you, and he's going to stun you and KO you. Lerone did get the win in his last fight, Dan Ige. I've never really cared that much for Dan Ige, but he does have some power. And in the first round, Ige hit him like once, and you could almost see Larone's face change where he had to almost be on the back foot for the rest of the fight. Doesn't like getting hit, which makes me very scared for Murphy, considering Emmet's going to throw bombs the whole fight. I don't think Larone's going to finish Josh, so basically Larone has to be a matador for 25 minutes against Emmet, while Josh is going to be a charging bull at him for all 5 rounds. I honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't pick Larone because I'm kind of scared that Emmet's going to connect on him. If you think Emmet's going to win, then you don't want to start betting the over rounds because Emmet could just KO him any round. If you think Larone's going to win, then you could probably go decision and be safe with that, or start betting Larone over 3 rounds, over 4 rounds. It's just too scary. Josh could connect on him any round at any time and just finish the fight. So I'm scared to bet any over rounds. I'm scared to bet who's going to win. Probably the best bet would be Josh Emmet, decision, no action. That way, if Josh Emmet finishes him, you win. If it's a decision for Larone, you just get your money back. And then if Larone finishes Josh, you would lose. But again, I don't see Murphy finishing him. He does have good striking, but his power is not there, and Emmet survived storms before. So I'll go with Emmet inside the distance, or I'll go with Josh Emmet, decision, no action, and that'll be my main event pick. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please leave comments. I want to hear from you guys. I'm excited. I know I don't have that many videos, but I want to make this YouTube channel grow, and I want to hear from all of you. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I look forward to hearing you guys in the next video.